The 1970s was a time of optimism for the nuclear industry, until an accident in 1979 near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Based on advice of the chairman of the NRC, I am advising pregnant women and preschool-aged children to leave the area within a 5-mile radius of the 3 Mile Island facility until further notice.
The event melted 1/3 of the reactor core of 3 Mile Island Unit 2. The cleanup took more than a decade at a cost of more than $1 billion. The impact on the entire U.S. industry? Many times that. U.S. utility executives formed the Institute of Nuclear Power Operations and began sharing operating experience with each other, including several international participants. As a member of the Kemeny Commission that investigated the 3 Mile Island accident, Pat Haggerty warned U.S. utility CEOs,
"First, there is always present, even though the probability of occurrence is very low, the potential for a really catastrophic accident. And second, to an extent I know of nowhere else, every licensee from a safety standpoint is the captive of every other licensee."
6 years later, the world would learn this lesson again.
На Чернобыльской атомной электростанции произошла авария. Поврежден один из атомных реакторов. Принимаются меры по ликвидации последствий аварии. Пострадавшим оказывается помощь. Создана правительственная комиссия.
In April 1986, Unit 4 at Chernobyl was destroyed, releasing large quantities of radioactive material into the environment. More than 100,000 people were evacuated from the area. Remy Carl, WANO's second chairman, recalls the event.
We didn't realize how important it was. We knew very little about these reactors. I have been several times in the Soviet Union, but even me, I didn't know much about the RBMKs. Afterwards, we knew more and we realized how big this catastrophe was and what a terrible event it was for the people around, and how important it was for the future of nuclear energy to be sure that these will never happen again.
But as WANO's first chairman, Lord Walter Marshall, recounted, the industry could have learned this lesson much sooner.
The first big nuclear accident in the world was at Windscale in the United Kingdom. That accident led to important safety rules in my own country, but had no significant effect worldwide. Many years later, we had the accident at 3 Mile Island, and that presented the American nuclear industry with a setback, a challenge, and an opportunity. At that time, we did not recognize that we, the nuclear utilities everywhere, are bound together by a simple and stark mutual interest. We are all fearful that one utility will let us down, will permit a management error, and allow another nuclear accident. Unfortunately, it took the horrific accident at Chernobyl to persuade us of all these facts.
These reactors were in an outside world, and they were not really connected with the international nuclear community, and that was one of the reasons of the accident. We were prepared in France, for example, to cope with a national accident. We were not prepared to act in front of a foreign accident, and we realized that we were all in the same boat.
This realization resulted in the formation of the World Association of Nuclear Operators, as utility executives from around the world met in Moscow in May 1989. Nikolai Lukonin, USSR Minister of Atomic Power, served as the first honorary president of WANO and presided over the inaugural meeting.
Дамы, господа, товарищи, Уважаемые участники и гости учредительной конференции.
In October 1987, senior representatives from most of the world's nuclear utilities met to discuss the need for increased cooperation among nuclear utilities worldwide. At the end of that meeting, the delegates, many of whom are here today, resolved to strengthen the existing links and the cooperation among nuclear operators by setting up a worldwide association.
The inaugural event in Moscow was a very exciting meeting because some of us didn't believe it was possible. It was possible to work together with Eastern countries. The Berlin Wall was still there. And it was a surprise that the Soviet people had accepted to open their doors, to be judged, in a sense, by their Western colleagues. And the meeting in Moscow was the sign it was possible, and we have done it.
The heads of the IAEA and INPO both pledged their cooperation and support.
I'm often asked whether WANO will duplicate or encroach upon the work done by the International Atomic Energy Agency. My answer is that I think the two organizations can complement each other and that there is ample need for both.
Let me take this opportunity to pledge our full support of WANO. WANO is in fact welcome to utilize any methods we have developed, to adopt them as they are, or to modify them as desired.
Representatives from 144 nuclear utilities signed the WANO Charter with the mission to maximize the safety and reliability of the operation of nuclear power plants by exchanging information and encouraging communication, comparison, and emulation. It was WANO's first president, Bill Lee, who challenged members to make measurable progress.
It has been my experience that nuclear plant performance improves when leaders set specific goals and they're scheduled to meet those goals. So as members of WANO, we expect superior performance from the leaders that we've chosen.
At the 1991 BGM in Atlanta, WANO members elected Sho Nasu from Tokyo Electric Power Company as its next president, succeeding Bill Lee. At the 1993 BGM in Tokyo, WANO members elected Ian McRae from ESCOM in South Africa as president. Remy Karl succeeded Lord Walter Marshall as WANO chairman. In 1995, Erik Pozdashev from Rosenergoatom in Russia was elected president at the BGM in Paris. Al Kupsis was elected president of WANO at the 1997 BGM in Prague. Zach Pate succeeded Remy Karl as WANO chairman.
WANO was difficult to achieve because first it was necessary to understand its goal precisely. And I think that some of our members thought it was just a body to provide certificates of good behavior. And that's not the target. The target is to pinpoint the areas for improvement. It's not a judgment, but it's the way for people to improve. We must not give compliments. We must give critics, friendly critics, but critics.
At the 1991 BGM, Lord Marshall announced WANO had achieved a significant goal set in Moscow.
I am allowed to claim 100% achievement of our first WANO objective. Every plant in the East has visited the West, and every plant in the East has received a visit from the West. This was an extremely ambitious program. 48 visits in all, meaning one visit every 14 days for 2 years.
This was unprecedented news, but Josef Panya, the dynamic general manager of PAKS, who helped shape Hungary's impressive nuclear program, was ready for more.
At the same time, I think it's not enough for the future that our work would be limited to such exchange visits.
Tehát ha ez a javaslatot a közgyűlés elfogadja, akkor a PAKS felajánlja elsőként, hogy fogadj egy ilyen vizsgálatot.
If the idea of peer reviews would be supported by the general meeting, the PAKS Nuclear Power Plant Company is ready to volunteer to take the first such review.
What is a peer review? That's the question. And in fact, I think is the contact between operators. They discuss their problems in friendly terms as working people, and I think that's the point where WANO is really realizing its target and its spirit. I think that really the peer reviews are the cornerstone of WANO, and we must encourage all our members to participate in peer reviews and to host peer reviews.
In the summer of 1999, a WANO 10th anniversary meeting was held in Russia at the Balakova nuclear power plant. Representatives from many countries celebrated WANO's first decade and discussed ways to make further improvements in the years ahead. The WANO 10th Anniversary Biennial General Meeting was held in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada in September 1999. A record number of utility executives attended. At the meeting, Soo-byung Choi, the president and CEO of Korea Electric Power Corporation, was elected president of WANO, succeeding Al Kupsis. The keynote speaker, former U.S. Senator Sam Nunn, said the nuclear community is responding well to the challenges of safety and economic viability, but that a broader issue remains.
The third challenge, as I mentioned, is the global nuclear chain, and that includes many additional links beyond your responsibility, and many of those links today are very, very fragile. I congratulate each of you in this room as leaders. I congratulate all of your employees who work every day to fulfill your mission. And I pray that all the links in the nuclear chain are inspired by your example.
The chairman of the Federation of Electric Power Companies, Hiroji Ota, pledged the continued support of nuclear utilities in the Tokyo Center.
I promise hereby, on behalf of the WANO Tokyo Center, to promote nuclear generation as vigorously as we have been to participate in WANO activities and make the best possible contribution to WANO.
Outgoing WANO president Al Kupsis left members with a challenge.
So first, in the near term, I challenge you to seek to complete a WANO peer review at every nuclear station worldwide by the time of the biennial general meeting in 2003. And second, in the longer term, I challenge you to seek and to establish a periodic program for peer reviews, such that each nuclear station hosts an outside review of its performance at least every 3 years, and perhaps even a WANO peer review at least every 6 years.
And WANO chairman Zach Pate stressed the importance of communicating a strong message about nuclear safety.
An organization is strongly influenced by and is very responsive to perceived expectations from the top. And these perceived expectations can and often do have a profound impact on the behavior of individuals in the organization. In my view, one of your most powerful tools for ensuring safe operation is the clear communication of your personal expectations about nuclear safety. And therefore, on this 20th anniversary of 3 Mile Island and 10th anniversary of WANO, I urge each of you, when you go home, to step back and carefully examine your own situation. And then to make sure you are communicating the right expectations on safety and that you are committed to do so on a recurring basis. Thank you.
WANO has overcome many challenges, but several more lie ahead. In 1994, Bill Lee described the need for utilities to continue to communicate about safety, even during the transition to competition.
We utilities are now competing with one another. And we're competing with independent power producers. We're competing for customers, for service territories, for business opportunities. But even with the competition between and among us, we in the nuclear industry recognize that it is in our competitive self-interest that each nuclear plant succeed. Therefore, commercial competition must not erode nuclear cooperation. Rather, it should serve as a catalyst to increase sharing among nuclear organizations.
And when people have to choose between competition and safety, they must choose safety. Because if the safety of our plants is declining, is poor, nuclear energy will not compete at all. Risk zero doesn't exist in any technology, but I think we have made a lot of progress. We have improved the safety and the availability of our plants by several orders of magnitudes. But we may have very good plants, very safe plants, if the operators forget what is at stake. You may have bad results, just because it's a matter of safety culture. And safety culture is always to rebuild again. The work of WANO will never be finished.